On the surface, Oscilio versus Gravy Bones seems like a really interesting matchup because Gravy Bones seems to be a little bit of a slower, more mid-rangey style deck, which means that Oscilio is going to have plenty of time to set up the combo and try to go like Gone in a Flash 45,000 times and then end with like a Mind Warp for 13 and do all kinds of crazy nonsense. But the interesting line that you have to walk in this match as Oscilio is that if they start flooding the board with allies, it's possible that they just get a bunch of overwhelming value and it's really too much for us to come back from, especially if they're gaining life every turn, if they're using the Arclight Sentinel ally that's going to force us to attack that every turn. So we really have to focus on making sure that we're keeping the board clean while we're also pressuring them and trying to keep them on the back foot. So the real question is, where does that line in the sand come in? I've really found that, using shocks is a big helpful part of this. Because we have so many arcane spells with the 3 new shocks and Consign to Cosmos or whatever it's called, and then we have, 2 copies of Null shock in the deck, it really helps us try to use the shocks and Volzar to keep the board clear, and then using the physical damage to be able to really apply life total pressure. And then also, if you're ever able to end the turn on like a Mind Warp or an Etchings of Arcana, it's really good at setting up and being aggressive. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the match. All right, we're playing against Gravy Bones, and we are going first. We actually have a pretty good turn here put together. Ooh, they're on AB3. Interesting. So we're going to go Gone in a Flash. We're going to blink the Gone in a Flash. We're going to play the current funnel. Then we're going to play the Gone in a Flash, play the Sigil, arsenal the Gone in a Flash. So we have a pretty good turn. We'll get to push a little bit of damage here. Okay. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and play the blink. Bounce the Gone in a Flash back to our hand. It's going to be current funnel for 2 go again. Kind of wish we had a okay. Kind of wish we had a an arcane spell here. An arcane spell would be pretty good. Our opponent says no blocks. We'll see if they have a defense reaction or what they're doing. Yep, we're going to play Sigil to bounce us back to our hand. So now we have a Sigil in play. I mean, we could push 4 damage. I don't think it's worth pushing 4 damage. This is really like a setup deck. I'm like more interested in just trying to play to 5-card hands here. I mean, this hand doesn't look that bad. This hand looks pretty good. We could like potentially try to like give ourselves an intellect penalty with some Blast to Oblivion stuff and like try to do some like Sigil bouncing nonsense. Could be a play that we could go for here. The obvious line that I see is draw a card, and then we have Flittering Charge into play Sigil to give it go again. We could always pitch the Blast if we wanted to. We can also play Gone in a Flash, and then we can bounce it back into our hand. Ooh. Okay, so Ruby Amulet, this is an instant to gain 2. All right, so Sigil of Brilliance pops. We're going to draw a card here. Let's see what we draw into and how good it looks. Eclectic Magnetism is not all that. It's okay. So I think we're going to start with Flittering Charge. We'll play the Sigil to be able to give this go again. So our opponent's going to take 1. We're going to play the Sigil, giving this go again. I have a couple of options here. Do we pitch Blast to play Magnetism, play the Shock, and then activate Volzar? That's the most efficient use of our hand. I think that's where we're best off sending our turn. It just gives us the efficiency that we're looking for. We had the option of playing Gone in a Flash. We're going to play the Shock. Then we're going to activate Volzar. So this is going to be amped for 4. This is going to be 5 arcane damage coming at our opponent here. They do pitch a blue. Pitching Call to the Grave is interesting. I wonder if that's like their only blue they have, because Call to the Grave is a very good like turn enabler for them. Interesting hand we have. Interesting hand we have indeed. I wonder if we're going to, like, if they put an ally into play, like, especially if they put, like, this one, the Oyston? Oyston? I don't know. Oyston, Austin, however you want to say it. I think it's Oyston. We have the ability to play Gone in a Flash from Arsenal. And then we can, and then from there, we can play both sides of the Comet, Storm, and Shock, use Tunic to amp Volzar. Actually, no, we can bounce this back with the Shock here. I guess the instant would be okay, but it's not... I don't know. This hand's kind of weird. Like, I don't really want to cycle the Sigil of Lightning away. It feels very powerful with our hand. Does feel very, very powerful with our hand here that we have. I think I'm just going to take some damage and we're just going to play the line that I'm thinking here. The line that I'm thinking, okay, I need them to put this into play. Nope, they're going to put a different card into play. So they're going to put a larger, or maybe they're going to put both of them into play. Maybe they're going to put two. I must discard a card with Watery Grave. Okay. I mean, yeah, so I have to pick them. Oh, and they're just going to attack us instead of putting this into play. I think this is fine. I think we can just take 4 down to 29, and then we can just plan on killing this. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to pop the Sigil of Lightning. I'm curious if they're going to activate this. They're going to start with Compass, which makes sense. All right, it's going to be... I think we throw Gone in a Flash at this, right? We're going to throw Gone in a Flash at the Chum, because this is the Arclight Sentinel-esque one. Okay, now... we're going to go ahead and activate Tunic to gain a resource. We're going to play both sides of... oh, wait. I have to get out of the resolution step. Man, I hate that Talishar just won't, like, break the chain for me the way I want it to. We're going to play both sides. We're going to pitch. We're going to amp. Then the Shock is going to kill this off. Watery Grave flips that over, and then we're going to deal 5 arcane damage to them. So we're able to clear the board, we're able to push a little bit of damage, nothing crazy, and then we're still going to set up a Gone in a Flash and Arsenal. So we're still putting ourselves in a situation where if we draw a really good combo hand, we can kind of just start putting together like a big turn here. This hand's not bad. I like this hand quite a bit. Yeah, this hand's solid. This hand's really good. We're not really going to utilize the Gone in a Flash this turn. Ugh. That would leave us with only 1 left in our deck. I mean, technically, I could block this. I could block 3, 5, 6, 7. And then we have kind of a weird hand. I don't know. I think I'm going to let this go. I think I want to play to the upside of channel. As bad as this sounds, I think I'm just going to give them a gold and let my Gone in a Flash go. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, if you think that was correct or not, because it's an interesting play pattern that I decided to go with there. So we're going to lead on Flittering Charge. Flittering Charge gives us the ability to start playing a little bit of offense here. Are they resolving the Compass? Okay, they're resolving the Compass. I mean, they're just looking at the top card of their deck. And then they get to draw and discard a card. Yeah, they can't put that into play. They have 2 of those in their graveyard now, though. I'm curious to see how they block. They're going to block 3. We're going to play Channel to give this go again. And then we're also going to draw a card, which is looking pretty good because it's going to give us something to Arsenal here. This is actually great because it's going to let us break the combat chain. We're going to activate Volzar, and then we're going to hit them with the Comet Storm. So this is going to be 7. So we're going to throw 7 arcane damage at them. They've already blocked with a card. If they pitch a card, they're down to 2 cards in hand and 1 in arsenal, which means we could be in a pretty good spot for them to kind of take a little bit off and just like maybe play a setup turn. And with the Null Shock, we could either look to go over the top with Volzar. Ooh, they actually take 7. Interesting. Blink keeps the channel in play. What does our turn look like here? I mean, 5 go again is like fine. So we can play Sigil of Brilliance. We can play Sigil of Brilliance, then we can pitch this to play the Shock. Actually, we should lead on the Shock, right? That's a better play. Yeah, I like this. We're going to take some damage here. And with them just having 2 cards, they're not able to throw the Command and Conquer ship at us. Ooh. They're going to crack the Amulet to gain 2 resources. Okay. I mean, yeah, they could play both of these. Because the first one gets go again. Ooh, and now they are going to play the Command and Conquer ship. Interesting. So our turn is a little less interesting now. Actually, I think this hand's fine, right? I don't really want to let them have this, so I think we're just going to zap this in response. Or actually, are we supposed to zap them and draw a card? I think we're supposed to zap them and draw a card, right? So we're going to pitch Blast to Oblivion, and we're going to shock them, and then we're going to amp to make this 2. And without them having Tunic or 2 resources, we're guaranteed to get a card off channel. We can get a Sigil. We can get a Sigil of Brilliance or Lightning here, actually, if we wanted to. It just kind of depends on how they use Arcane Barrier this turn. So, Sigil of Brilliance. They're going to go ahead and activate Compass in response. Them having 1 ally is not the worst thing in the world. Like, I'm not super concerned about that. Do we want to play Glyph? I mean, so Glyph comes in for... Let's see. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5. They AB 3, and then we deal 2 to draw a card. I think I would rather play Etchings and then gain some life, and then Arsenal the Glyph because we have Tunic coming up. We do get to draw a card here, so we're pretty good no matter what happens, no matter how they pitch. And they have to pitch something to deny us the Sigil of like Lightning or Brilliance. Probably get Brilliance, considering I have Tunic and everything available to me. Eclectic Magnetism is not the best thing in the world. I'm actually really not a fan of this card. It's felt very clunky this game. We will Arsenal the Glyph and try to set up here. I mean, this hand looks very good. Okay, so this is 4 go again. Are we going to discard the Magnetism to draw this? I think so, right? So we're going to make this play where we're going to discard the Magnetism to pick up the Sigil of Brilliance and find a pretty good one here. This looks pretty good. Yeah, our turn's looking solid here. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Doesn't really have much value. So this is 3, puts us to 9, and then they can play their... Oh, they're going to attack for 3. Yeah, I'm going to go to 6. We have a really good turn. The funny part is, like, we could shock this if we wanted to like, cut their attack off, but I don't think it's worth. I do not think it's worth. Okay, so we have a really, really good turn here. So it's going to be Fry. We're going to start. We're just going to attack them. I think I'm pretty okay leaving the Oyster. Is that how I said you say that? Oyston. It's not Oyster. Lol. That would be hilarious. If it was Oyster, that would be hysterical. All right, so from here, they're going to activate Compass. We are going to somersault the Fry back to our hand. I have no interest in giving them their Paddle Faster, although that is a pretty cool card. All right, so we somersault this back to our hand. We're going to play Discharge. There is a world where we could have tried to have cycled, like we could have cycled away the Discharge, but I think Discharge works pretty well with this hand. We're going to play Sigil of Brilliance. And then I think we're just going to go ahead and amp, and we're going to pitch to the Glyph here, I think is the plan. This is going to deal quite a bit of damage. So we're just going to go ahead and pitch because we're going to get a card out of this. This is going to be 9 damage. Yeah. So it's going to be 9 arcane damage. We draw into Blast to Oblivion. And then our opponent's going to Tunic to attack us. This hand feels pretty good. I think we can just take some damage here, right? So we could use the Tunic to be able to gain an action point for the Blast as a fixer this turn, but it feels unnecessary. So I think we're just going to go to 4. So it's going to be Flittering Charge for 4. This hand feels pretty clean. It's going to be Flittering Charge for 4. We're going to use the shock on our turn to kill this ally instead of on their turn. Actually, are we supposed to just go upstairs with this? I don't really want to give them a gold token. Ooh, they're using their Tunic resource ahead of turn. Wonder what they're up to over there. Uh-oh. Oh, they want to block with Tunic? Okay. I mean, they're trying to play around channel. That's fine. I mean, if they're going to use their Tunic counter defensively somehow, then it makes sense. But if they're not, it just feels kind of weird. So now it's Flittering Charge. We're going to attack them. We'll see how they block. I'm curious to know if they just like give 1 card here, or if like maybe they have like a respite. Okay, so we can shock. Let's go ahead and shock their ally, I think. I think we'll just shock the ally. We'll get it off the board. This gives go again. We put them down to 8 this way off the physical damage. We're going to use Tunic to amp for 4. Then we're going to break the combat chain because Talishar has been giving us the business with this combat chain nonsense. And then this is going to be 7. So 7 arcane. We're going to be able to get our Sigil of Lightning back is probably going to be the play. The embodiment looks really, really solid. Oh, they had 1 extra floating. So we're just going to get the Sigil of Lightning back. We're going to play it, and then we're just going to pass to them, and we're going to see what they can put together. So our turn is really powerful. There's no way for this to get go again or any kind of nonsense, right? Am I missing anything? I mean, this has go again, but they're going to... I mean, I guess we could just try to kill them here, right? Like we go Sigil, Somersault, nothing. So Sigil, Somersault this back to our hand, and then we've played 2 lightning cards. We pitch the Blast to Oblivion to play Null Shock, and then amp for exactly 4 because they have no resources floating. Yep. And we're just blocking efficiently to make sure that we have exactly what we want. We need to be able to get our blast back to make sure that we're going to be able to end the game here. Them having no resources makes us just kind of a free kill here. I'm glad I didn't try to like go into my turn and like do some other stuff. We're going to play the Sigil of Lightning, and then it's going to be the shock effect, and then we're going to amp in response so that this bumps up 3 extra points, and then we're going to deal 4 damage to our opponent, and they have no cards in hand to be able to do anything with. Yep, and we were able to close it out at instant speed with the shocks. On turn 3, we see our first real choice of the game where I have the option to where I can either send the shock upstairs or I can send the shock at the ally, and then from there, I'm able to actually throw the Comet Storm at our opponent for a good amount of damage. Now, in my opinion, it feels pretty obvious that we're supposed to get the ally off the board. I'm pretty sure this is also like the Arclight Sentinel ally that like forces us to attack them, and I don't really want that. So I think that overall this was the correct play, especially with life totals being so high, but maybe with life totals being just a little bit lower if it was a different ally. We're supposed to ignore that ally so that we can try to actually kill them by ending the game here. But getting the allies off the board early is a very good play. On turn 3, our opponent throws the new Command & Conquer boat at us. The CNC is how I've heard it talked about, which I think is pretty funny. But I was put into an interesting situation there because I had the ability to block with Comet Storm Shock, the Flittering Charge, and then 2 pieces of equipment to actually deny them blowing up my second Gone in a Flash. The only real consideration for this line is the fact that this is my second Gone in a Flash, and it's only turn 4, which means we may not see another one for the rest of the game. I ended up making the decision to let my Gone in a Flash go and then playing out the turn, which worked out pretty well because I drew into the blink, which let me use Volzar on the Comet Storm and then Arsenal the Null Shock, which is a pretty good play overall. I think it sets us up for a really good turn moving forward because we're setting up channel. We have a 5-card hand for next turn. It all felt pretty good there. On our turn 6, we're moving into this turn with an arsenal and 5 cards in hand because we utilized our equipment, which works out pretty well for us. Being able to bounce the Sigil of Brilliance with our headpiece is extremely powerful. It's very, very good play. I ended up keeping the Comet Storm and Shock just to be able to pitch to the Glyph Overlay instead of using the Tunic. There's probably a world where I'm supposed to cycle the Comet Storm and Shock and I'm supposed to draw into another card to try and make something better happen. Now, it ended up not really mattering because I would have drawn into a Blast to Oblivion, so it just kind of worked out that way anyway. But I think I am supposed to cycle there because there's a world that I find a better card, another card that I want to play. Like maybe I find a Flittering Charge, or maybe we find another Sigil that we can play to make the Glyph just a little bit better. And if we do, then we're able to use the Tunic counter to be able to come in with the Glyph instead of just pitching a card, because we weren't pitching a card to keep channel around. We weren't really trying to like achieve anything like that. So I think overall it would have been better if I would have cycled away Oscilio, and then I could just pitch whatever I draw, or if it lines up well, I can add it to my Glyph damage, and then I can use Tunic effectively. On the last turn of the game, we were able to kill our opponent with the Null Shock at instant speed, thanks to the fact that we had some other Lightning instants in our hand. It's kind of weird how sometimes the Lightning instants are really good, and sometimes the Lightning instants feel really, really awkward depending on what you're looking at. But I do think that it was kind of cool to be able to kill our opponent through AB3 because they went out of cards in hand. They had no resources available. We were just able to close the game out, which I'm going to be honest is really neat because I was kind of worried about our ability to close out the game effectively with AB3 from our opponent. But the fact that our opponent was running AB3 also meant that they were in a weird spot when it comes to some of our physical damage. So it was just a pretty cool way to win at the end of the game. Guys, if you see anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.